Ladies and gentlemen, on the line, a Bay Area legend from East Palo Alto, California. I have Ad Capone from Totally Insane. Tell everybody about East Palo Alto, what it was like growing up in the 80s and 90s out there.
East Palo Alto is a small city, 2.5 square miles. At that time, it probably was like 25,000 people population. When I was growing up, it was like a real tight-knit community. You know, all the families, all our parents grew up together, so it was like a real close, tight-knit community. You know, and then like within like the late 80s, when you know, a couple years into the crack era, the city divided. You know what I'm saying? A couple of incidents happened, and a couple of young dudes lost their life. One of my good homies, Rufus Tooks, lost his life. And that sparked a division in the city. It was Midtown against DeVille, C Street, and the city was divided. You know what I'm saying? So in about 1990, so about 89 is when that happened. The city divided. I've been rapping since about 84, since I was like 10 years old. You know what I'm saying? My mom's made sure I had the turntables and the mic and shit in the house, and I had my instrumentals and shit. She would let me do my thing. And a teacher in middle school heard us on the playground spitting our shit, and to let us come in her classroom and rehearse and practice after school and stuff, and open up the music room to us and kind of like innovated us. So by the time East Palo Alto divided and started getting a little more violent, I was already a couple years into rap. So around 1990, we dropped direct from the back streets in like 91. At this time, it was the funk was growing. And the following year, 1992, East Palo Alto was the market capital of the nation.
Yeah.
But growing up, like I say, was like, you know, back in the 60s, was like they had a Panther headquarters out here, and they had Nairobi Village, and it was more Afrocentric and shit, like back in the 60s going into the 70s. And then, like I said, in the 80s when the crack era hit, in 81 we officially became a city. They established us as a documented city in like 1981, and around 1984 when crack hit, it hit East Palo Alto pretty hard. I was about 10 years old when it hit East Palo Alto hard, and by the time I was 13, 14, shit, it was full-fledged, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, and now and then over the years from the 90s till now, it's calmed down. You know, Facebook moved in the Menlo Park right up the street. Amazon got a headquarters like right where our old business district used to be at, where we had a market and we had a pharmacy and all that shit over there, and now it's Amazon. So I don't know if I could cuss. Is that cool?
Of course you can. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, back when I was growing up, that shit was, you know, like the neighborhood drugstore, the neighborhood pharmacy. My grandmother sent me over there to go to get her some stockings for church and shit. And, you know, they had the G-Town, not G-Town market, but the little market over there, sell meat and stuff. And now, you know, a lot of the biggest companies in the world has sought out East Palo Alto and came and changed the whole demographics. You know, It calmed down the violence, but it also moved a lot of the people that originated from here. It moved them out because the properties and the houses got so expensive that the average person couldn't afford it. You know what I'm saying? You know, a small 3-bedroom ran down 50-year-old house is worth damn near $1 million out here. You know what I'm saying? Back in the days when I was growing up, that wasn't worth shit. You know what I'm saying? A house in East Palo Alto wasn't worth shit. You can give a house away in East Palo Alto when I was growing up. So
yeah,
it totally changed. And, you know, I feel blessed to survive and see the growth and the change. Cause like now, it ain't been a murder in the last 3-4 years. It ain't been one murder. Or maybe I might be wrong, but you know,
really,
yeah, real shit.
Let's take it back, man. Let's talk about the beginning of your your music career. And I know you mentioned funk earlier, how the town was divided. Talk to us about, you know, the beginnings of your music career and the specific talent show that was shot up because you were told not to make music with the other side.
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, when my English teacher, Miss East, used to let us come in our classroom, we used to be a group of us, you know what I'm saying? And me, $10, which ended up being my partner in Totally Insane, Chunk, which ended up being a Bay Area legend in itself, my boy Doc Louie. My boy Doc Louie moved to East Palo Alto from Texas like when he was young, and as soon as we met and hooked up, we started fucking with the music and shit. And he was in the music, and we just started hanging around and kicking it. So we started coming to each other's house, going back and forth. His mom was cool with my mom's, and he was cool to come to my house. It was cool for me to go to his house, spend the night. We'd be in the room just with the beat, you know, with the boom box, just recording ourselves, doing verses over motherfuckers' songs and shit, and just, you know, just fucking with the music shit, just trying to build something. And he happened to be from C Street. He happened to be from the Ville side. And I'm born and raised in Midtown. And when we first started rapping, it wasn't that. It wasn't the divide. It was cool. We was doing talent shows. We was doing Juneteenth. So we was doing, you know, we was rocking. You know what I'm saying? And once the divide happened, which I understand because we lost a homie, you know, a youngster too. He was only like 18 when he got killed. A real famous dude in the town. You know what I'm saying? A real popular dude in the town. And he lost his life at a young age, and a lot of dudes was mad. They wanted revenge. So we was told on both sides because it got to the point where motherfuckers would get shot. Motherfuckers were getting shot at on both sides. And, you know, motherfuckers, it was serious. So motherfuckers on both sides was telling each one of us, nigga, don't bring that nigga over here. Don't be doing no music with that nigga, you know what I'm saying? Yada, yada, yada. Keep that nigga from over here. That nigga might be a spy or something. And this coming from both sides. I know that. I know for a fact that both sides were saying that shit. You know what I'm saying? We were saying the same thing to each other. So, but, I mean, he didn't have nothing to do with it. I didn't have nothing to do with it. And our friendship was deeper than just the rap. That was my homie from 5th grade on to, you know what I'm saying, you know, until we became teenagers. You know what I'm saying? At that point. We still cool to this day. You know what I'm saying? This is 30-some years later. But, and his name is one of the names that I mentioned in I Don't Even Trip on the Direct for the Backstreet album. Doc Louie. And they was just telling us to keep each other away from their side, and it was getting real funky. And we were sneaking behind niggas' back, meeting each other over at Music Annex. We had a little spot over behind my house called Music Annex, where it was like a studio. Like Rock and Rollers and Too Short used to press his shit over there, and you know what I'm saying? Them motherfuckers charging us $100 an hour for studio time and shit. So we was sneaking off, meeting up in Music Annex, recording shit. But the problem is we was letting motherfuckers hear the shit. They was like, nigga, didn't we tell y'all to woo 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 woo? So it was still, you know, it was still funky, like, you know what I'm saying? It was a big talent show they used to have every year at Kelly Park, which is in Menlo Park, which is on my side of the map, on my side of the town. Shit. We thought it'd be a good idea that if we did the talent show and rock that shit, that'd probably bring motherfuckers together and shit. And we had prepared a song to tell motherfuckers to stop the funk and all the shit, a nonviolent song and all the shit that we had planned to perform and all the shit. And we thought in our minds that we was trying to help and trying to calm the shit down. But really all we did was brought all these motherfuckers together in the same building. And these same motherfuckers have been going back and forth at each other for these last year or two at this point, because I think Rufus died, and then I think the Juneteenth was like maybe 6 months later or something, like in the summertime or something, like not the Juneteenth, but the talent show was like in the summertime. So it wasn't that far off, like in the same year. Motherfuckers got up in there and got to arguing, they got to pushing, got to shoving, got to fighting, and then blickies came out and motherfuckers started busting, and motherfuckers got to running, and motherfuckers got to screaming, and the police started coming, and total chaos. You know what I'm saying? And if you know Kelly Park, it's one way in, one way out. You know, you got to go all the way to the back of Menlo, and then you got to go to get to the gymnasium where it was at in the back. You got to come in that parking lot, go all the way to the back, and then you got to turn around to come back out of that motherfucker. So that was a dangerous situation. It was, you know, that was total chaos. A couple of days later, we used to have a newspaper called the Times Tribune, and a couple of days later, I didn't even know Times Tribune was in the building that night. They had pictures of us on stage, and the headline was "Local Rap Group Cause Shooting at Local Gym," some shit like that. My mom still got the newspaper article. I still got that shit at the house. I thought I posted it on Instagram. I think it's still up there. But yeah. So after that happened, the phone increased. You know what I'm saying? It got worse. And Doc Louie and his brother got to some trouble, I think, and they went back to Texas. And I started going to high school. We had left middle school. I went to start going to high school. I was going to Carmont. And me and Ten had hit back up freshmen in high school. He had moved off for a minute, but then he came back. So we was freshmen in high school. And we was still fucking with the music shit. And one day coming home, Michael Washington approached me and see he was at the talent show. He saw, you know, we did get to get a few songs off before the shit popped off. So, you know, we did do our shit. He was like, I was walking by his house on my way home because I live right around the corner from him. And on route to the bus stop is from, you know, I get off the bus and then I got to walk past his house to get to my house. And he was out there washing his car and he was like, yeah, Adam, hey man, I seen y'all at the little talent show, man. Y'all was rocking till that little shit went down. He's like, you ever thought about, you know, going in the studio and recording that shit? And at this point, I had already had a little bit of experience recording because, like I said, we was going to Music Annex, spending $100 an hour recording there. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yeah, I got a little experience, and we was recording at Doc Louie' uncle house, Jabo house. He lived like around the corner from me, like in the jungles. So we used to go over there and record. I was a little 4-track and shit. So I had a little bit of experience, but it wasn't the quality of like trying to put it out professionally. You know, it was just like mixed down good enough for the neighborhood ballers to listen to because I threw their name and shit in. I did like Too Short, threw their name in so them niggas would play that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, me and Tens hooked up. Mike gave me the money. We met TC. We met Coog Nut. We met the whole Frisco crew at that point, and we started recording. We had a couple of there was a couple other members in the group in the beginning. It was me, 10. It was MC Silk and my homeboy Zero Lark. Zero Lark was the reason why we met TC because he met TC, and TC used to work at a studio called Bankroll Studio, and he was the engineer in there, and he was a producer. He was making beats and shit, and he was the engineer in there. And somehow Zero Lark, my nigga Dre Gibson from PA, he met TC somehow, or he went there and recorded his shit there. So when Mike gave me the money, I remembered because he was riding. He had like a tan 6'4". He used to ride around Goins and shit, and he used to come through slapping his shit and shit. And he used to always pull up in front of my house because he knew we was fucking with the music. So every time he dropped some new shit, he'd come by my house, pull up, drink his little beer, and let us hear his shit slap out. You know what I'm saying? And I was a youngster at that time, so hanging out with that nigga was like cool. Cause that nigga he had a clean ass 6'4". We used to be at Pleasant Fair getting that hose and all kind of shit. So, and I'm a young nigga, you know what I'm saying, pulling up in some clean shit like that. And I was like big, like. So I remembered he was riding around passing out demos that he had made, and it had the number and shit on the back. So once Mike gave me the money, I ran to the house and I remembered that shit. I put that shit up just in case. I was stacking on my little bread. I was selling my little rocks and my little sacks of weed on the side, trying to build up some time to build up some money to get some studio time. But Mike had it, so you know what I'm saying? He had it. So we met TC, or we went through Dre. I called TC, introduced myself, asked him how much studio time costs. Long story short, because I'm sure people probably heard a little bit of this story before. He gave me the bread. We went up there to San Francisco, met TC, introduced the TC crew, all in the same day. Booked the studio time and went home and prepared some shit, wrote some shit. We had a couple little ideas, couple little beats that we wanted to jack and shit, and want to flip or whatever, and we just start putting some shit together.
Let's talk about Mike D, who was very instrumental, obviously.
Yeah.
And he unfortunately ended up losing his life early on, correct?
Yeah.
Talk to us about what happened around that time.
Okay. So all this story runs right into each other. So we meet TC, we start recording. Eventually, members start falling out the group. Zero Lark and Mike had a fallout, so Zero Lark got kicked out the group first, and then Treese. I don't know what happened with her. She left for personal reasons. She just stopped coming around. She started doing her own thing, I guess. So she was out the group. So it was just me and Tien. So we started recording another album. We recorded an album called Crazy Shit. We had like 13 songs on there. We had some slaps on that motherfucker, so that was a nice album. So we recorded Crazy Shit, and we took the cover, the picture for the artwork and all that, and we had everything ready. We went and got it mixed and mastered, the whole shit. We had to test copy, because back then you had to get your shit mastered. You had to go somewhere and get your shit mastered and all that. And that weekend, that Friday, we usually meet up on Friday at Martin Luther King Park, which is in the G, and watch the little kids play softball. I used to love to, sit out there and watch the little kids play softball and sit out there and smoke his weed and just think, like, because it used to be quiet and peaceful, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, yeah, man, we finna send this shit to the press. It's gonna take a couple weeks. Woo, woo, woo. We're gonna hit all the records. So he was basically laying out the blueprint of what he wanted to do, what he had already planned out. You know what I'm saying? He knew a lot of motherfuckers in every city in the Bay Area. The nigga was famous all over the Bay Area, all over Northern California. So he was like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and that. So he's like, cool, bro, hell yeah. He had just got his car out the shop, I believe. He had a convertible Skylark, candy red, bone white interior, triple gold ones, clean as fuck, super slap, clean as fuck. He had just got out the shop. I don't know if he got it painted or something happened to it or something. I think he put some brand new rims on that motherfucker. He just put the gold ones on, 5-time gold ones on that motherfucker. And he said he had bumped this little chick. He was going to Oakland and he'll be back, tomorrow, this was Friday when we used to meet up on Friday. Me, him, and Teen used to meet up on Fridays. And he said he'd come back Saturday and whatever. So we did. We left. We went and did our thing. I live right around the corner from him, so I went to the house. And about noon time, we went outside. Me and my brother sitting outside in the front, chilling, talking and shit. And Mike D brother ran up the street. He ran to the corner of our street and was screaming, "Mike D dead! Mike D dead!" And we was like, "What?" Everybody that was out there ran down there. And we was like, "Bro, what are you talking about?" He said, "Man, they killed Mike D, man. Mike D dead. He died." In front of Mike D in the mama house. And it was real. Everybody was out there crying. Motherfuckers was falling out on the ground and all kind of shit. Motherfuckers was destroyed, because Mike D was, to explain what Mike D is, he was like a balling ass nigga, but had hella love and respect.
Let's continue with your career. You signed to Intermittent Records eventually, home of legendary artists like RBL Posse, Andre Nicotina, Pooh Man. Yeah. Tell us a bit about, in hindsight, what the history of Intermittent Records, or what you know about it, and then how you guys became to sign with them.
I can't remember exactly. I know there's a rumor out there that Master P introduced us to Intermittent Records, but that's not true. We met Master P at Intermittent Records. You know what I'm saying? Which, I mean, I don't the rumor ain't bad.
Everybody.
Right. The rumor ain't bad, but it's just not accurate. We met P at Intermittent Records. He didn't bring us to him. We met him there. I don't remember exactly how we got the number, because Intermittent Records was back then. It was divided. It was music people, which they had a distribution side of the company, and then he started Intermittent Records, which he would start putting out artists and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like top Bay Area, or Bay Area artists that's hot that just need a push. He was taking them and giving them a push and putting them out there. You know what I'm saying? But independent artists was also going to him for music people, which he was doing distribution, also putting your CDs and your tapes in the record stores and shit. Getting your shit out there. So in the beginning, when we first did, after Mike died, I'm gonna have to continue that story. After Mike died, my homeboy Manny the Black took over and started helping us. We had to scrap the Direct from the Backstreet out. I'm sorry. We had to scrap the Crazy Shit album because Michael's brother, after Mike died, his brother didn't want to. He thought at the time groups like Public Enemy and Poor Righteous Teacher and X-Clan and them was snatching the charts and on the radio and shit. So he had a group called Black Dynasty out of Oakland. Shout out to Black Dynasty, which they had some great music. They shit was hard as fuck, and it was like Afrocentric, kind of like X-Clan type music, and which was hitting at the time. And Chris, being a businessman, I guess he felt that type of style of music would go farther than our type of style of music, So he told me, nah, I think I'm gonna roll with Black Dynasty, and just put y'all on the back burner, basically. So we had another homie named Manny the Black. Manny the Black filled in for Mike D, and we scrapped the Crazy Shit album, and we recorded Direct from the Backstreets. By the time we scrapped Crazy Shit and started recording Direct from the Backstreets, we had already had a few years studio experience. This is like 91. We had met TC in like 89. So we already had like 2 years, a year and a half of recording songs and putting songs in the song format and writing about topics and telling stories and all the shit, beat selection. And we was, at this time, we were seasoned, you know what I'm saying? So it was really nothing for us to just scrap the Crazy Shit album and record something new and something fresh, you know what I'm saying? And just come again, like, fuck it, let's go. And we recorded Direct from the Backstreet in 7 days. We stayed at TC House. We worked day and night. We wrote shit there in the studio. We, TC would make the beat, and we'd write that motherfucker right there, go and lay it. And, we worked hard, you know what I'm saying? And we recorded the whole album in 7 days. And then it took TC another 7 days to mix the album, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe 6 days. So I think Saturday we went out and got drunk and shit. So, but
yeah,
doing that good. So, and once we finished it and, we sat down and listened to it, Manny came to the studio and listened to it, and we sat down and we felt comfortable. We felt proud of it, you know what I'm saying? And we hit the streets with it, you know what I'm saying? And we got it pressed up. The first day they came back, when I bust that first box open, it was like Christmas, like, you know what I'm saying? To see your face on a CD, an actual CD cover with shrink wrap on it, and your name on the back of the credits, and the song that you wrote is the titles of the, it's a great feeling, It's a great feeling.
Man, 92. What year did you guys release your first album? I know you just said it was in 92.
No, we dropped it in 91. And I know Wikipedia says, I think June of 92. But the story of that is we was independent with the record before that. We put the album out ourselves before that. And yeah, so Wikipedia documents the date that Intermittent put it out is June some 92, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong on the date, but I think they got it as 92. But we actually put it out in 91, the end of 91. Mike D died August of 91. And between August and I think we put it out December. I think we put out December of 91. November or December of 91.
All right, so 91, 92. I'm assuming, like most contracts, even nowadays, but especially back then, were pretty shitty. Is it safe to say that your first contract was pretty shitty?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Break it down for us. Just not the money part, obviously, but just talk about, that side of the business. How did you consult a lawyer, or did you just sign? Talk to me about that whole situation when you guys got signed.
When we signed, like I said, we brought the album to him. So when we signed, we was under the understanding that it was a partnership. Like, you know what I mean? It was a partnership because we bringing you our product. We already had our own record company established, and we brought you the product. What happened was we couldn't keep up with the supply. You know what I'm saying? Back then, when you get your CDs pressed up, that should take 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Our shit was moving off the shelf so fast that we couldn't keep up with it.
Damn.
It's like, you know what I'm saying? it was too much for us to handle at the time. And we didn't know what the fuck we was doing. We just knew how to make the music. We didn't know how to sell the music and distribute the music and market the music and, all that shit. So we felt after, like I said, we put the album out in December. They didn't put out till like June, I believe, May, June, something like that. So within the 6 month period, we was working it as a record company, selling it ourselves, making a whole lot of money. So we figured that that's how it was supposed to be. You feel what I'm saying? We was making hella bread before we signed them in Records. And then all of a sudden, it's kind of like, well, yeah, well, now you got to pay for this and this cost and that this and deduct this. But when we was doing this shit ourselves, it wasn't costing that. You feel me? We had this motherfucker popping when we brought it to you. That's the reason why you signed this, because we was already hot. We came to you. You feel me?
Damn.
You heard about us. You heard about what was happening.
A lot of my content on my channel and my podcast is geared towards keeping kids out of prison and or an early grave. I do know that, doing my homework on you, that you spent 6 years in prison, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you, obviously not to glorify it, but to hopefully, like I said, keep kids from going down that route, wasting just your life. Our life is short, dog, and to spend 6 years in prison, that's a huge chunk of life. What was going on around that time? I think possession with intent was the charge. I'm not sure if that's correct, but break it down, man. What was going on? The end of the music. Talk to us about how you, I guess, went from the music biz to, spending time in prison.
Well, basically, what happened was I grew up in that life. I grew up on the street, grinding, selling dope, running with the hood niggas. And once you get into that life, bro, and it's very hard to get out that life, you know what I'm saying? Because, and especially when you're born and raised into that environment and everybody around you is that. Everybody around you is, that. You know what I'm saying? That's what you in. You know what I'm saying? And these are the people that you're growing up with. These are the people that your parents grew up with their parents. So y'all growing up together and y'all coming up together. And as I grew and as I lived, I still was intermingled with that shit. You know what I'm saying? After some years, I did get a job and I started having kids and I got in a relationship and I was working and shit, but I still was out there grinding. I still was getting side money and I still was with it. You know what I'm saying? I still was out there doing my shit. And if you don't totally leave it alone, it ain't never gonna get off. You know what I'm saying? You got to totally cut that shit off. And I still had ties. And the situation I got wrapped up with was a quick money flip situation. All I had to do was, take the little work that I had and take it and drop it off, buy it for this, take it out to Louisville, Kentucky and sell it for that and double my money just to drop it off. Because the prices in California is half the price as it is in Louisville, Kentucky. So I stay around work, so all I had to do was take it and drop it off. And unfortunately, I got, I got set up. I was getting off the airport. The DA approached me. They had the little windbreakers and shit on. They brought the dogs in, sniffed me out. They ran me to the back. And, once the dog get on you, that's probable cause. They can strip you butt naked if they want to. And they took me in the back and they got to pulling shit off and went in my bag and found the work. And since it was in the airport and basically since I was in the airport, made it federal. I did the shit on federal property or whatever it was, and that made my case federal. They took me straight to the federal building in Louisville, Kentucky. The process. I had to go to the preliminary. Was the first one, arraignment. I had to go to arraignment. They told me all my charges. I was charged with possession with intent to distribute cocaine. The work that I had was a little bit under a half a kilogram of cocaine, so that kind of saved me a little bit because it wasn't the above the 500 grams or something like that. It was like 485, 490 or some shit. It was just like right there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they charged me, bro. There's no use to fight the feds. Once they got you, they got you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I don't know the whole setup because I didn't take it to trial. I play it out. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't take it to trial. It wasn't I was already told by niggas in there, nigga, don't take that shit to trial. You better plead out. You better jump on the deal, nigga.
If they,
shit, with the amount that I got caught with, I was only facing like 5 years. Mm-hmm. And that's what I played out to. I played out to the 5 years. But they got what they call the federal sentencing guideline. You know what I'm saying? That shit go up and down and left and right. You know what I'm saying? I had a few prior convictions, which bumped me from a category. Say my initial the 5 years is what 60 months, right? Mm-hmm. I played out to the 60 months. But when my PSI came back and my prior charges came back, that shit knocked me over to 89 to 108 months. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
So, yeah. And, of course, the fucking judge gonna go with the DA and the prosecutor and the district attorney and all that shit. And he didn't even give me the low end of the shit. He gave me 96 months. He could have gave me 89 to 108 months, but he gave me 96 months. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So I got sentenced. I was out there in Louisville, Kentucky. Well, when I first got arrested, they had me in the federal holding facility in Louisville, Kentucky, and then for some reason they shipped me to New Albany, Indiana, which was right across the bridge, like right across the what is that bridge? Ohio, whatever bridge that is. Yeah, right across that bridge. It's like a 15-20 minute drive. But they used to transport me back and forth to court whenever my court day came. They used to take me out to Indiana, drive me to Kentucky, and bring me back. And then once I got sentenced, once they gave me my sentence, they put me in another spot, Litchfield, Kentucky, which was like back in the days, it was like a lynching grounds and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like they used to lynch slaves and shit out there. They had like a cold history out there.
Lynchfield, Kentucky.
Yeah, Lynchfield, Kentucky. Real shit. And they treated my mom hella shitty when she brought my son up there to visit. So they gave me my time. I got sentenced. Luckily, they sent me back out here to Lompoc. Lompoc, California is out there toward like Santa Monica and shit, like Southern California. Or like Central California, should I say. I did about 16 months there, or almost 2 years there, and then they shipped me to Taft. Taft is out there towards Bakersfield. I did 2 years there. They sent me to Nellis, which was in Las Vegas. I did 6 months there, and then they sent me to Ford City, Arkansas, where I did the rest of my time, which was like 2 more years, like 2 years and some change, 27 months or something like that. Yeah, something like that. And they gave me 6 months halfway house. So, but what the feds do is where you got caught at is where you get released to the halfway house at. You know what I'm saying? So they released me to the halfway house in Louisville, Kentucky. I had to find a job out there. I had to go get, that's some cold shit, ain't it? So I had to get a job out there. I had to get driver's license and shit out there. You know, and I was trying to appeal, trying to get closer to home because I don't got no family out there. You know what I'm saying? My homeboy's so busy. Little sister was, living out there. She let me, like, they used to give us like weekend passes and shit. And she used to let me come to her house and chill and shit. And, you know what I'm saying? I slide her some money. She go buy a nigga some food and shit. Or I just give her some grocery money and she'll cook for a nigga and shit. She had her whole family living there, you know, her boyfriend, they kids and shit. And she was cool enough to let me come chill at their house on the weekend. They released me to Louisville, Kentucky. Mm-hmm. I had to appeal to try to get back close to my family because, I don't have no family out there. And like I said, she was gracious enough to let me, come chill at her spot just to get away from the halfway house and, just to feel a little piece of home, Shout out to my homegirl, Shatanya. I went to school with her. I went to grade school with her and shit, so I knew her and stuff. And just coincidentally, she lived out there and just was cool enough to let me do that. So thanks to her. Shout out to Shatanya. What happened was one day, the corporation that owns the federal prisons is called the BOP, the Bureau of Prisons. Mm-hmm. And every year or every quarter or however long, they come by and they do inspections and they walk through and they talk to the inmate or the inmates or whatever. And they ask, how's things going, how you doing, and, how's everybody treating you here, and just kind of like ask you shit. So one day I happened to be coming from work and I walk in and one of the white dudes walk up to me and he like introduced himself and shit and asked me my name and asked me how, what's going on with me. And I told him, I said, man, look, I'm from California, from the Bay Area, born and raised, East Palo Alto. My mom, my family, my kids, everything is in California. And they got me here and they won't give me a transfer back to California. And the way I approached him in front of everybody, I put him on the spot in front of his whole little people he was walking with and the whole shit, plus all the prison guards and all the other inmates. Well, not prison guards, but all the halfway house staff and all the shit, and kind of like put him on the spot. And, man, I thought I was going to get in trouble. I thought they was going to fuck me over. I ain't going to lie to you. But what he did was he went back and made some phone calls. And he made some shit happen. I came back about 3 days later. I was coming from work, and my case manager called me in the office. They had a little office in the halfway house, and they got the little case manager in there doing little meetings and all that shit, the little annuals or whatever meetings they be doing. He called me in the office like, yeah, man, I don't know what you said, man, but that shit worked. It was a black dude too. I don't know what you said. He was a black dude. He was cool as fuck too. I ain't gonna lie. He's like, man, I don't know what you said, but that shit worked. You on your way home, buddy. Damn. Gave me my little transfer papers, and I had like about 3 days. They was coming, told me to pack up my shit. They coming to get me in like 3 days, or they was giving me a ticket to get home in like 3 days. They send my clothes and all that shit to the other halfway house, and they was gonna give me a bus ticket to get to, get there. And shit, yeah,
that was a happy ass day, huh?
Hell yeah,
man.
So I got back to Oakland. I was at the one in Oakland right there off MacArthur at 580. I was up in there, and that one was cool. You know what I'm saying? My homeboy looked out for me. My homeboy Jay looked out for me. Gave me a little G-Ride. Gave me a nice little Honda Civic to ride around in and shit. And I had to go to work, of course, and I had to check in. And they, it's still jail, so I had to do that for 6 months. I did 3 months in Louisville, Kentucky, and I did the last 3 months in Oakland. And yeah, that shit helped me get prepared for the world. I had been gone for 6 years.
Yeah, man.
And to be honest with you, I didn't know what the fuck I was gonna do. But halfway house really prepares you. It helps you prepare to step back out there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Damn, dude.
But it helped me. I can't speak for everybody.
Yeah. Can I keep you for about 10 more minutes?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Perfect. Cool. I'm loving the conversation. There's something I would love to talk with you about. 91. Let's go back to 91, 92, and we're going to kind of wrap it up by going backwards. That was an interesting time. There is a conspiracy out there that right around that time, some people got together from the music industry and some people got together from the prison business, prison industrial complex, whatever they call it. And they came up with this pact to push out this music, gangster rap. And I'm asking you this because you're Totally Insane will be classified as a gangster rap group. And supposedly they were going to push this music out to the masses, because if you remember, you obviously remember, 88, 89, we were Black Power. We had the African medallions. We had the high top fades, bright ass cross colors. And then overnight, as soon as the Chronic album came out, whatever the case is, everybody's bopping and they're wearing baggy clothes, and it turned into a gangster scene. But there's a conspiracy out there, and it's come to light more since Crazy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony brought it up, saying that there is a connection between gangster rap and prison, and basically they're feeding the prison systems through gangster rap. Have you heard this? And if so, being a pioneer, especially in the Bay Area gangster rap scene, what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, I did hear that. I saw the video. I saw a video on YouTube about that. I don't believe Crazy Bone lying. I wasn't at the meeting, but I don't think Crazy Bone lying. And yes, I do believe that the music industry did push. Well, I'm kind of like, I'm on both sides, like, to be honest with you, because I feel this. I feel that when NWA dropped, which was 88, that shit was so fucking big and blew up so fucking fast that everybody was trying to jump on that shit. All the big record labels and all that shit were trying to jump on that shit. And the record labels saw or projected that shit was going to be, just by them doing what they did, they saw that shit was going to be so fucking big that they start signing those type of artists. That's what they start looking for. And I think the consumer is what really sparked it, because if we wasn't running out, because I was one of them, I was a big NWA fan, and I'm saying nothing negative about NWA because I love Cube. Cube is my favorite rapper of all time. But their popularity put a what's the word I'm looking for? Put a target on gangster rap, because it's kind of like, these motherfuckers sell a lot of records and make a lot of fucking money. Spotlight. And no matter what the content is, no matter if this dude is really that, no matter what it is, as long as the gangster and we're killing some shit, and you know what I'm saying, we gonna get behind it. We gonna push the Public Enemy and the BDP and the Poor Righteous Teachers and the X-Clan, all that shit out the way, because this gangster rap shit is taking over the fucking airwaves. They're taking over the fucking record stores. You know what I'm saying? And I do believe that once they saw that and they realized that hell yeah, they put their money behind it. Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. And then it got to a point to where, and then this is just my personal opinion, I think it got to a point to where I think in the beginning they figured that we'll just get behind it, we'll make our money, and then this shit phase out, and these gangsters will go back to selling drugs and smoking, drinking 40s and shit on the corner, and we'll just ride off into the sunset with millions and millions of dollars. But what they didn't understand or what they didn't contemplate was, there's going to be some smart motherfuckers that's going to start putting out their own records, starting these independent companies, and they can start getting $1 million deals, and they can start being these Master P's and these E40s and these Sig Witters and these No Limits and these Cash Monies and all these shit. And these motherfuckers actually going to start making $1 billion off their own gangster shit. Mm-hmm. And once that shit start happening, they start shutting that shit down. They start killing off the moms and pop stores. They start killing off the moms and pop radio stations. They start killing the little underground, anything underground. They start killing that shit.
Damn, dog, that's deep.
The underground start killing that shit. They monopolized on the record store, so they shut down all the moms and pop stores and bought up all the Tower Records of the Sam Goodies and started pushing all major label artists out of there. Jeez. It was hard as fuck at once. And for independent artists like us to even get our fucking records on the shelf in Tower Records in the warehouse and shit like that. For real, for real. Damn. That's no bullshit. Because the major labels have put a monopoly on it. Just like they put a monopoly on it now. Now you got to go through iTunes and Spotify and, you know,
yeah,
it's the same shit.
Let me
they
ask
just
you,
learn how to do it digitally.
I'm glad you brought up NWA. It's almost like you were reading my mind. NWA is the reason I fell in love with hip hop, period, point blank.
Yes.
Eazy-E, when I heard that voice, I was like, I need more, dog. And it was on from there. You know, Special Ed a few months ago ruffled some feathers on the West Coast when he was on the Drink Champs. And he made a comment. He said that NWA brought destruction to hip hop. That was the line that went viral. There was a lot of other context behind it and around it, but that's the line that everyone stuck to, which is NWA brought destruction to hip hop. First of all, are you familiar with that when that went viral a few months ago? Okay, cool. And then secondly, you know, what were your thoughts when you heard that initially, and what are your thoughts now?
I actually watched that Drink Champs interview. I watched the whole thing, and I mean, you got to think like this: East Coast cats are totally different from West Coast cats. Their lives are totally different than ours. And on top of that, they created hip hop. They created the shit. They mastered the shit. They had Hall of Fame artists come out. But when NWA came out, they was selling records that none of them motherfuckers had ever sold.
Mm-hmm. Without,
you feel what I'm saying? Without radio play. You just hear motherfuckers walking down the street in a boombox bumping that shit and you got to go get one. You feel what I'm saying? So the East Coast cats is kind of jealous of that. They was kind of jealous of that shit, bro. And they had never seen it. Here come these motherfuckers with the sagging ass Levi's, these wet ass Jerry curls with the low glasses on, with the cut off finger gloves on, and they got 40 ounces. They calling girls bitches and yada yada yada. They not understanding that shit. They not understanding that's Easy and Cube and them real fucking culture. That's how the niggas really dress out there. They just brought that shit to the mainstream. So these East Coast niggas feel superior, like, nigga, we created this shit. Y'all supposed to rock this shit the way we do it. Y'all supposed to dress the way we dress. Y'all supposed to rap the way we rap. Y'all music supposed to sound like our shit. You know what I'm saying? And when NWA hit and said, nah, nigga, this is what the fuck we doing, bow. It was like the niggas got jealous. And Special Ed was one of them OG artists at that time that was hot. Mm-hmm. Around 88, 89, 90. That was hot around that time. And I'm sure that when NWA dropped, they took a lot of his shine. When NWA dropped, I didn't hear nobody rocking on Special Ed no more. I ain't gonna lie to you. And I love Special Ed. I had his first album. I used to bump his shit. I knew all the nigga lyrics and everything. Mm-hmm. But I just feel that that's just his opinion. And I feel that opinion is kind of coming out of envy and jealousy. Because if NWA brought destruction, he said he brought destruction to hip hop. Mm-hmm. How come everybody that came from NWA is multi-billionaires? Well, not multi-billionaires, but multi-millionaires and billionaires, totally successful, in their 50s, got families, ain't been shot. You feel me?
Yeah.
That's a better example than the record is, because I can look at Cube now in 2023 and say, damn, I remember when that nigga was the rawest gangster motherfucker on the record, but this nigga went off to make some of the greatest movies that my mama and my grandmama watch on Christmas. My family sit down and watch Friday on Christmas.
Facts.
You feel what I'm saying?
Every year.
Yeah, every year. That's a tradition in my house.
Same here.
So did they really destroy the hip hop industry, or did they actually help the hip hop industry grow? Because when NWA dropped, and then Eazy-E dropped, and then Ice Cube dropped, and then Snoop dropped, and then the Chronic dropped, that shit made the most money hip hop had ever seen, ever. You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
These niggas was going on world tours. These niggas was selling 4, 5, 6 million platinum albums. Tupac came and sold Diamond on a double CD. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it got to be some kind of envy there, because if you add up the numbers, if you add up Tupac, let's say Tupac, if you add up Tupac numbers to anybody anywhere, not just the East Coast, he outselling everybody. Mm-hmm. That's that West Coast gangster shit. That's what the people wanted. But yes, to answer your question, I know I got off track.
Ah,
That's what the people wanted, and yes, the record industry got behind that because that's what was making money.
yeah.
And once it started making us money, they wanted to back up off of it. Like, oh no, oh hell no, that shit bad. Get that shit out of here. You feel me? Ain't no fun when the rapper got the gun, you know.
And Ad Capone, is definitely been a pleasure, dog. I really enjoy going down memory lane with you, man.
Thank you.
Give me if you have any shout outs, anything you have coming up, anything you want to promote, the floor is yours, man.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Man, since 2020, 2020, since the pandemic, it really helped me, like, really restart my label, man. I got the Insane Empire label back up and running.
Oh yeah,
me and Ten started in
Mac?
back.
Oh no shit. Oh okay.
Yeah, we started it back in 1998. Once we left Intermittent Records, we started our own record label. We made it official, the Insane Empire, in 1998. And off and on during the years when I got out of prison, I did a few albums and shit and put out. And then I had like a 9-year hiatus. And then like 2020 during the pandemic, I built a studio in my house and I just got back to recording this shit. So I revived my record label and I've been putting out projects. I put an album in 2020 called Ad Capone 100%. 2021, I put out an album with my homeboy, DB the Gambler, called Heavy Work. 2022, I put out, what did I come out with 22? Oh, 22, I came out with, 23, the beginning of this year, I came out with Manza Musa. And I just put out in September my new group album, the Duffel Bag Mob. My boy Gucci Smoke, D-Dow, Buff, Money Mark, DB the Gambler, Jonah the Artist. You know what I'm saying? I just put out a new album, a new group album now, called the Duffel Bag Mob, Till the Wheels Fall Off. And that came out in September. So I'm still working, man. Yeah. You know, if y'all want to reach me, y'all want to hear some of my shit, I'm on Instagram at Ad Capone, ADKAPONE. That's probably the best place to hit me on Instagram. I post a lot of videos. I post a lot of promotion. I post a lot of music. So if y'all on the gram, hit me up at Ad Capone, ADKAPONE. Yeah.
Love it, man. Dog, thank you so much for your contribution to hip hop, and I wish you much success, man, and have a great night, all right?
Thank you, brother. You too.
Peace, dog. Thank you for tuning in to Dusty Vision TV. Please hit that like button if you have not already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, you just might appreciate this bonus clip I'm about to play for you right now. The Mexican OT, a rapper out of Texas, says, I'm going to continue to say the N-word. And what are you going to do about it? It seems like 2 or 3 times a year this topic goes viral. Should Mexicans, Latinos, Hispanics, should they say the N-word? I personally don't think anyone should say the N-word. I really dislike that word, especially when black people say it. When we stop saying it, they'll stop saying it. And when we stop referring to ourselves as niggas, America will stop treating us like niggas. I don't like that word. I think it's gross. And I really dislike how black people have taken that word and turned it into a term of endearment. Dear America, not all black people are N-words. Before we move forward, I got to let you know that. Not all black people are N-words. And not all N-words are black people. I say we get rid of the word. Then we have this dumb discussion. Yeah, it's okay to say it with an A, but you can't say it with a hard ER. Wait, even if I'm black? Yep, you can't. It's the same exact word, especially to the rest of America. They ain't differentiating an A from an ER. You are a nigga, my nigga. You are whatever they hear in their ears. They don't know the whole, if it's an A, it's okay. If it's an ER, you're going to the ER. Like, what? We have the dumbest logic sometimes. And that's nigga logic. That's not black logic, because black people don't like niggas. Most black people do not like niggas because they make us look bad. They make regular, hardworking black Americans, taxpayers, homeowners, they make us look bad. Whenever you turn on the news and niggas are looting a Foot Locker, America ain't differentiating blacks from a nigga. They're not separating the two. You're all an N-word when they see you ramaging through those Nikes trying to get to those dunks. Same thing. Back in the 60s, 70s, before NWA popularized the word, the N-word was not seen as a term of endearment. People didn't say, that's my nigga. I love my nigga. No, they would say the word when they were describing a piece of shit human being. Look at this nigga. Always fucking up. Can't get his shit right. This dumb nigga. Man, I can't stand niggas. You know, last night some punk ass nigga broke in my car. That's how they used to use the word nigga amongst black folks. And we all know where it came from originally, right, huh? We all know who popularized the word. Do we need to go back to the 1800s, 1700s, my nigga? Huh? Get some horses and whips up in this. Do we need to go there? But here we are. Now it's a term of endearment. It's a beautiful thing. That's my nigga, man. Look at him, huh? Look at my nigga, man. Huh? He just got his GED, man. Yeah, he's in prison, but he still got his GED, nigga. Screw never ignorant, getting goals accomplished. Knock it off. Who invented that bullshit? Was that Tupac? If Tupac invented that bullshit, you need to go somewhere with that shit. Never ignorant, getting goals across. Knock it off. Niggas don't accomplish shit, but go to jail, have a bunch of babies they don't take care of, and make things bad for normal black folks who are trying to get by and do the right thing. Most black people don't like niggas because they mess it up for all of us.